Dave Refson, Gerry DiNardo, Howard Griffith. We're here in Lincoln, Nebraska, getting set for year 2 under Mike Riley. He's not the only coach in the Big Ten getting set for his second full year. Now, we don't count Tracy Claeys here. This will be his first full season at the helm of Minnesota, but Jim Harbaugh, obviously, at Michigan, Paul Chryst at Wisconsin. What do you think the biggest challenge is for each one of those guys this season?
Well, with Jim Harbaugh, I would say keep the momentum going, and as much momentum as he got the first year, the way to do that is to compete better against his rivals. So I think that's where it goes with him. With Paul Chryst, this is a tough schedule. How good this team can be may not show up on their schedule. So, obviously he's at winning season. Make sure the defense is the way he wants it because he's had a change in defensive coordinators. So try to have a really good year at Wisconsin, which will be difficult, and make sure the defense is set.
Yeah, I think here in Nebraska, it's about being consistent on the offensive side of football. Not falling behind, down in distance, being able to take care of things, and that's the challenge that he has, to make sure that this offense can really move smoothly. And I think when you talk about the Badgers and Coach Chryst, to me it's about getting back to that identity of who they are as a run-first team, because there were games last year that it was, they really had to get away from it.
And it was injuries. Injuries are a huge part of it, right?
It is. But even when they've had injuries in the past, they've still been able to stay true to who they were. But I think as they continue to add that depth back to the offensive line, because that's where it starts, I think they can get back to it.
Yeah, and again, to go back to his schedule, without a running game, that's a recipe for disaster. So the running game does predict to be better in Madison this year, and it will be better, and that'll help him deal with that schedule.
Well, but then the flip side is, will the defense be as good without Dave Aranda? Dave Aranda's been a huge part of Wisconsin's success, not just last year, but prior to that as well with the previous staff. So can you overcome the loss of someone who I think is one of the best X and O guys that we've come across in the Big Ten?
And the unusual thing about this whole situation is Dave was there 2 years before Paul, right? Yeah. So Paul, who's an offensive guy, coaches offense, doesn't really want to mess with the defense other than to quality control it, make sure it's okay. He has this third-year coordinator in the first year of his tenure at Madison. That was perfect. Yeah. This is imperfect because you don't want to go through a coordinator change after just 1 year in the job, but it happens.
Well, and talk about happening, it's obviously happened to Michigan, right? So, and they're heading in a different direction as well, but by all accounts, it looks like this could be a more explosive defense now because of all the blitzing that they're probably going to be doing.
Here's my concern there. Is anything short of a championship a disappointment in Ann Arbor?
Well, isn't it always that, though?
Well,
in many ways. In many ways, isn't it?
But I think it's different now. I don't know whether you guys do. From where I sit,
I'd be more specific. Are you talking about a Big Ten championship or a national championship?
No, I'm talking about a Big Ten championship.
No, that's not enough. No. It's nowadays football. It's national championship or bust.
No, but it's been a long time since they won a Big Ten championship. That would mean being better than Ohio State. It would mean being better than Michigan State.
And Alabama won a national championship once without winning the SEC West. The world has changed. Nobody cares about conference championships. Mark D'Antonio, after they lose to Alabama, he comes on our set. They won the Big Ten championship. Did you ever see him more down than that night?
Well, but I think it was a function of
Big Ten championship.
I think it was a function of the way they lost, Gerry.
Yeah.
They won a championship.
No, I know, but you're not sitting there thinking of the championship that you won after you get throttled in one of the biggest games in school history.
We do know
this.
Because
we've redefined success.
But we do know this. You need to win your championship game to have an opportunity to play.
Probably.
Most likely.
Probably.
Play for a national title.
Mm-hmm. I think probably, yeah. In this environment with the playoff.
Are you okay now?
Huh?
You're turning beet red. What's going on? You got really upset during this segment. You should really calm down.
You're getting at me. I'm red.
Yeah, which is tough. You're usually a nice bronze, but you've turned red.
So are you okay?
I don't know.
I think we're done. But why don't we do this again at the next stop?
I'm not doing anything with him again.
Without as much discord. We're going to try it.